everybody, my name is Great British Geek and I'm here to continue my Stupid Stories series. Now I only ever did 2 videos of this 3 or 4 months ago, and actually people seem to quite like it, and I don't know why I didn't do another video on this because I've got plenty of stupid stories. I mean, my life is probably the biggest stupid story that I have. Anyway, I'm just, let's do more stupid stories. Let's do this. My first stupid story is one that happened a few months ago, beginning of the year, probably more like in April, May kind of time, maybe June. And I had triple psychology, so that basically meant 3 hours of psychology. And there was a 15-minute break between the first hour and the second hour. And this was on a Friday. It was 3 hours of psychology in a row. And I was so tired, and I was just like, oh, I really don't want to go to class. And I was just sat in the common room, and my mate Jack's with me, and he's like, oh, Georgia, would you like me to carry you? Because, that's fucking how Jack talks. And he kind of said it in a jokey way, but I was like, actually, yeah, go on then, carry me. So Jack takes hold of my arms, and my mate Dan then joins in and takes hold of my legs, and they carry me to class, and I'm kind of dangling like this as they carry me like all the way out of the common room and all the way to the classroom, and they just put me on the floor in the psychology classroom, and the teacher was like, yep, thanks for dropping her off, boys. It's like, why did this happen? Why did my 2 friends just fucking carry me to the class? And it's just like, no one thought it was abnormal because it was me. So my next stupid story is actually one of my all-time favourite stories and all-time favourite things that has ever happened to me. One thing you actually might not know about me is that I rode horses for 7 years. I started riding horses when I was 9, and I rode weekly and sometimes more than that when I didn't have school for 7 years. I stopped riding because the stable I went to closed down in August last year. So it's actually been a year since I've ridden a horse. Hopefully I'm going to be riding my friend's horse on Sunday though, if everything works out. So yeah, I rode horses for 7 years, and I think this story happened and I'd been riding for probably 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, I'm not quite sure, but kind of around the middle. And there was like, the lessons were half an hour and each. And I think one of them got delayed or something happened, and so my riding instructor just said, well, we'll put the 2 lessons together and we'll take you out so you can have a gallop in the fields. And we were all kind of happy with that because we didn't get to do it very often. But because the lesson had been delayed or whatever, there was double the amount. I think in total there was probably 8 or 9 of us, and the average lesson would have like 3 or 4, like maybe 5. If you had 6 people in a lesson, it was crowded, so that's why we all went out in the fields. And because there were so many of us, there weren't many horses, and because like my riding instructor sometimes gave us the option to choose which horse we rode, and I was one of the last ones to get picked, and so I had the choice between 2 ponies, one called Hope and one called Piper. Alright. And so back when I first started riding, I'd actually ridden Piper quite a lot, but I'd only ever ridden Hope once, so I thought, oh okay, I'll choose Hope. So we all tack up, we get on our horses, and we walk out through some lanes and go up to this field where we can have a gallop. Now this field is really steep. It's like, I don't know, you can't really, that was the dog yawning. You can't really kind of show it with your hand, but it was a very steep field. Now normally on a normal day when there's only 4 of you or whatever, you would just gallop straight up the field and then you'd walk down. For whatever reason, we didn't do that. We split into 2 groups. There was me and 3 other people. We were kind of the more advanced riders, and then there were the 4 or 5 others from the previous lesson who hadn't been riding as long. So me and the 3 others, we, instead of galloping up, we went up along the other side and round. So we galloped all the way up to the top, but it was slightly longer. And then the other 4 or 5 came trotting up with leaders or just like a slow canter. So we were at the very top of this steep field. Our horses were all kind of like pumped up because they just had a gallop, and this field is quite big as well, and we could just see my riding instructor and a couple of the parents down the bottom of the field, and we could hear a shout, "Come down." and we couldn't hear her very well. I just kind of looked at the other riders and was like, does she want us to gallop down? And just like a bit of equine knowledge, you're never supposed to go downhill any faster than a trot, because obviously it's dangerous. And I always hated riding downhill any faster than a walk, so galloping downhill, I was just like, no way, I'm not doing that. So I wanted to just squeeze my horse and get her to walk down. However, this other girl decided to give the pony she was riding a huge friggin' kick, which sent her horse galloping down. Now, horses do this thing called napping, which is where they always try and go back with and stay with the other horses. So as this girl and her horse started galloping down, my horse started galloping down, and this other girl's horse started galloping down. So, and the field was a bit wet as well, I think I'll say that. So it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, we're on a steep field, it's cold and it's wet, and we're galloping down this hill like there's someone chasing us with a fucking rocket launcher. So I can just remember being like that, leaning back, heels down, absolutely shitting myself the whole way down, just thinking, oh my god, I hate it, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And I was doing well, like I was getting close to the bottom. I was getting close to the bottom of this hill, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna survive this. And honestly, I was so close to the bottom, and I felt my heels just suddenly go up. And a rule with horse riding is always keep your heels down or you're gonna fall off. And that's exactly what happened. My heels went up and everything just kind of went into slow motion, and I just felt myself slowly fall off. And before I knew it, smack onto the ground. But I didn't just fall, I hit the ground and I rolled, and I just kept rolling like doosh, doosh, down this hill about 4 times. My dad was just standing there laughing. The horses had galloped up over there. The people who were smart enough not to gallop down were all at the top, and I was just there. I stood up, I was dizzy, I was frigging concussed, and I just didn't know what the bloody hell had happened. And it's still one of my favourite stories to this day. So my next stupid story also kind of relates to horse riding. I hadn't actually fallen off that much in my 7 years of riding. I probably only fell off maybe like 15 times at the most, so if you think 7 years, that's alright. And I can remember having this one horse riding injury, and I can't remember which one it was, but I can remember my right leg really, really hurt. I'm not sure if this is the one where I had to go to A&E because of it, but I can remember my right leg was like royally fucked up. And my dad had taken me into town to buy a body protector, and that's a body protector right there, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. You wear it for horse riding and it protects your body when you fall off, like mainly your ribs and your chest and your back and all whatever, and it is advised to have one. So we went to buy me a new body protector, one that would actually fit me, and we were walking up back through town, and we were just walking along the pavement about to cross the road, and this bus was coming down across the road. It was like kind of like a junction or a turn or whatever, and my dad was like, oh quickly, come on, we'll run across the road so we don't have to wait for the bus to go past. That was all well and good, except my leg was fucked up. I couldn't walk properly, let alone run. Like I was limping like I'd had my leg frigging cut off. So I was like really trying to run across this road, having to limp like a nutter. It was excruciatingly painful, and my leg just couldn't take it. The pain was awful, and my leg just gave way. And in front of a crowd of probably about 60 people, because it was like a town, so people were walking around, and they're on this bus, I just went flat on my face in the road in front of all these people in front of the bus, and I could just remember lying there thinking, Dad, I fucking hate you. And I got up, walked along, dusted off the shattered remains of my pride, and had a royal fucking go at my dad. Well, not really, because I wasn't brave enough to do that, but I was just like, look, Dad, I can't walk, why the freak did you make me run across the road? And oh god, you just, oh, I cringe still thinking about that. So this stupid story, oi, no. So this stupid story is more of a stupid thing that has kind of someone else inflicted upon me rather than something that I did. Sorry about my hair, I washed it last night and there's no product in it, and it goes into like a cone cut, like a bowl cut, it's horrible. So this was back when I was in secondary school. I was either in year 10 or 11, so I would have been 15 or 16. And we played different sports all throughout the season, and I think this was probably the netball season. Netball is of course a winter sport, and I was actually good at netball back in the day. I was always on the team. And I think it must have been raining, or the weather must have been horrible, because we stayed inside to play a game called bench ball. I'm not going to explain the rules of bench ball, but it is a bit like netball and like basketball. It's a good game, but I'm not going to bother explaining it. And so I was stood on this bench, which was essentially like a goalkeeper or a point scorer, I don't know. But my teacher was on the, she would have been on my team, probably. Yeah, she would have been on my team, and it makes this so much worse. But I'll basically explain it that like you have to throw the ball, and the person on the bench on your team has to catch it for you to get a point, and so on and so forth. So my teacher, who is a netball player, she grabs the ball and she throws it towards me on the bench. Now this would have been great if she'd have maybe called to me to let me know that she was throwing the ball at me, but she didn't. Now, they're not really playing the blame game here on that, but she still could have gone, hey, Georgia, and thrown, or made sure I was aware, because they're always like, get into space, throw to someone who's aware that you're throwing to them, and all that bullshit. So, hypocritical teacher. And so she throws to me this netball, and it just cracks me straight in the fucking face, like, square in the face. So I'm all like, ow, what the hell, who did that? Now, any kind of normal person and someone with just a little bit of kindness in their heart would go, oh, I'm sorry. What does she do? She just goes, oh, Georgia, for God's sake, and then just like walks off. It's like, you just threw a fucking ball in my face. Don't go having a go at me. You just hit me in the face with a ball. How about an apology? Oh, she wasn't nice. So my final story of today takes place in the good old early days of A-level drama. So this probably happened sometime in the winter, so I hadn't been at sixth form for too long. Obviously I do A-level drama, and the practitioner, we studied 3 practitioners, and I think, and I should know this, I think this story revolves around us studying Stephen Burkoff, who you probably have heard of, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we were focusing on the exaggerated movement of his characters. And in Stephen Burkoff plays, it's very rude, and he's not afraid to go there, or he says whatever he wants, and due to this, genitalia is usually quite a big topic. I had to perform part of Greek and just look up the script for Greek. Anyway, so our drama teacher brought in a bunch of balloons, and she said to us, what I want you to do is I want you to put these on and get used to walking around in an exaggerated fashion so you can use that in your practical work. So we thought, okay, fair enough. She then goes further and says, so I want you to blow up these balloons, and I want you to make giant breasts and giant penises with giant testicles. And it's like, this is the best fucking lesson ever. So we blew up these balloons. Rosie, what are you doing? Look, what are you doing? So we blew up these balloons and we stuck them inside and on our shirts. Some of us stuck giant testicles and penises and leg fat, and proceeded to walk around the drama room, and then proceeded to walk around the rest of the school. Now I'll insert a photo here. I'll block off all the other faces apart from mine, just for privacy reasons. So do A-level drama, because it's, you get to make giant balloon penises, and it's educational. So there you go, guys, those are my 5 stupid stories for today. I do really like this series because I have done some really stupid stuff in my time, and if we can all share a bit of laughter, even if it is at my expense, then, let's do it. So please let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you want to see more of this, because I'm very happy to share my failures with you guys. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment away, and remember, embrace the weird and stay geeky. Goodbye.